In late 2014, the Buffalo Sabres and their general manager Tim Murray knew they were going to be bad. They also knew that a generational talent in Connor McDavid would be going to whoever was lucky enough to draft first overall the next year. They would be fools to not do everything they could to get him. Thus, they made the decision to deliberately tank the Sabres for the 2014-15 season so absolutely that there would never be any doubt who would be worst overall in the league and have the best shot at getting the McDavid pick. With the generational talent that McDavid had, he was the sole justification for the existence of this depraved season. Murray made the better part of a dozen trades that year, each making the team worse, but not so egregiously lopsided that its goals of tanking were glaringly obvious. He did exactly the right thing. The Sabres sat in the basement for the whole of the season and were last in the league at its end. All for McDavid. 82 games of utter suckage and misery, and the front office finally had achieved their singular, all-consuming goal of being the forerunners for the McDavid pick at 30th place. After the draft lottery, the McDavid pick is awarded to Edmonton. The Sabres drafted Jack Eichel, who's an incredible talent himself, but he's no McDavid. The Sabres franchise languished in misery for over a decade, not sniffing the playoffs until they finally made the dance in 2026. They became the butt of all jokes and the epicenter of suffering in the NHL, despite Tim Murray doing everything right to acquire the kid who would become the greatest player on earth. But what if he'd had some clairvoyance into the future? What if he had tanked the Sabres to the exact spot that would get the pick? What if he tanked for 29th? Today, inside of Franchise Hockey Manager 9, we are simulating the 2014 and 15 season again to ensure the Sabres do get McDavid. Myself and my wonderful patrons are democratically inhabiting the body of GM Tim Murray. By committee, we have the power to make personnel decisions that shape these 2015 Sabres, and by God, we are going to shape them into a turd. The goal of the Rewind Sim is to land the Sabres at 29th. The pick that won the draft lottery, and forthwith draft that diamond of human capital that is Connor McDavid. Naturally, this means we have to give up more players to ensure that the team is awful, but not explode the team to ensure that we're the worst. So there has to be some consideration and intelligence behind decisions. So I created some rules for the season, mainly that the trades we make have to bear resemblance to the ones that the real Tim Murray made. Those are, trade 6 pending free agents, trade for a star player that is out injured for the rest of the season, trade for a locker room cancer and locker room leader simultaneously, and make a trade with more than 5 assets involved. There is an extra condition that if any goalie accumulates a .920 save percentage at any point, we have to trade them. You may think to yourself, those are all very specific things. Did Tim Murray really do all those? And the answer is yes. At least those were the public justifications for the trades. The 6-pack of UFAs he offloaded were because they could get easy futures, understandable. Evander Kane was able to be acquired because he was out injured for the back half of the season. And Murray said he acquired young Zach Bogosian for his leadership, and then in the same breath admitted that Evander Kane had a poor off-ice reputation. And finally, that big old trade where the pair was acquired was huge. But easily the funniest one is the .920 save percentage kill switch. We will see it again. Players don't care about tanking. They play to win. But when a goalie especially is winning too much, he's disproportionately creating wins and ruining all of our extra cool plans, so we have to get rid of him. The 2015 Sabres actually did this. Both Jonas Enroth and Michael Neuwirth, who were good this year, got shipped off for inferior goalies once it became apparent that they were too good. And we'll do the same, no matter who our goalies are. So these are some fun guidelines based on the real-life trades to give us some direction for the season. Since I was feeling evil, I also added 2 more minor ones. Sign a free agent and trade him, and make 2 trades involving the same player. Now, all of Murray's trades were to make the current team worse, undoubtedly, 100%, which made his soundbite-addled explanations all the more hilarious because he had to play it like it was a normal trade, since nobody would ever admit to making any sports team intentionally bad. So to spoof this, after each trade, we'll face the media for an interview and individually pick a mood, tanking excuse, bad team cliche, and exit strategy to explain our interrabling of the team. The combinations are designed to make no sense. But that's the point. A random mishmash of his reasons cannot make any less sense than the actual explanations. Intermittently, we will also pay visits to the Chosen One and collectively pick words that we think will seduce him to the dark Buffalo. Buffalo. The first order of business was simple, or at least I thought it was going to be. I queried the patrons to see which free agents they wanted to sign. Upon seeing the list, the choices were almost unanimous.
Oh my god, Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith has affectionately appeared on this channel before. He's a beloved Edmonton Oiler, but by the summer of 2014, he very publicly retired from that team and the NHL as a whole. I don't know why on earth he'd want to come out of retirement to sign in Buffalo for $1.5 million on a one-year deal, but ours is not to question why. His only other role to play was to be callously traded away before season's end, thus fulfilling a trade requirement.
But there's also J.S. Jaguar. Since we do have a trade stipulation where if any of our goalies ever accumulate a .920 save percentage or higher, we have to trade them away right away, it may be prudent to get Jaguar. 8 3/4 of 100,000. That was a really weird way of saying that. He wants almost $1 million for 1 year. We can easily do that. For good things about playing for Buffalo. I don't know about that.
Our second victim was J.S. Jaguar, who was also in his late 30s, but still active. He was our insurance policy in case we ended up trading both our initial goalies. Both of these two were picked because they weren't really good anymore and wouldn't materially improve the team. Perfect. Tim Murray had the following to say about the signings. He was really ticked off about it, but he wanted a veteran presence in the room for the both of them, which makes sense, and he said we were ahead of schedule in terms of our retool, and then he promptly ran away. After simming through the preseason, which is utterly irrelevant to the sim, we were met with our first problem.
We were both pretty good. So where is Jiggy? Is he on the Americans? Where is Jiggy? He's working remote. He wanted no part of this. Where is he? He's AWOL. We gotta find him. Oh, he retired. What the heck? He just retired. Are you kidding me? We signed him to a contract and then he retired? Did he play in any preseason games for us? No, he didn't. Wow.
Jiggy signed a 1-year, $874,000 contract, and then apparently decided he just wanted to go home. And did. Awesome. Tim Murray called an emergency press conference to talk about the sudden retirement. He was mad. Beat red in the face. He said that Jiggy left just because he wasn't getting the bounces, which is interesting because he didn't play a single game. And then he held his hands out to the crowd and asked them to join him in prayer. The patrons voted to replace the trader with another free agent, but that could wait as our season got underway. Sadly, we did pretty well in our first 3 games of the season.
A 6-1 win? What are you doing?
Well enough that somebody had to go.
980? He's at 940. Kill him. Get him out of here. Oh, we got, as per the condition, Jonas Enroth has to be kicked off the team.
Enroth was the first goalie to suffer. He was just succeeding too much. We can't have that in Buffalo. He was traded to the Avalanche for Ben Street and a 7th-round pick. But now, we do need to replace him, because we only have 3 goalies in the organization.
And then we get, Jose Theodore. If we sign Jose Theodore, there's no guarantee that he won't just retire too. But everyone's voting for Theodore. I gotta give the people what they want.
Theodore would start the 2014-15 season in the AHL, however, as we had called up 20-year-old Andrei Makarov.
His old body will not be able to tempt it. Jiggy is tempted Theodore like the snake in the Garden of Eden.
Now, he's only 21, so the game says he is a 1-star talent. Not nearly good enough for the NHL. He is the perfect remedy to Enroth's myopic desire to win.
Alright, dude, we gotta lose to the Bruins. This game is awful. You got a shutout! I swear. Oh! No! The minor leaguer got the shutout! No! We gotta get rid of him!
He starts 1 game, and it's a shutout. We have to trade him, per the rules. But the patrons picked up on the fact that we needed a goalie coming back so that we weren't short again. Looking for suitors, I filtered all NHL goalies by those who were statistically bad and would be bad because I didn't want to lose a second goalie to the 920 rule.
Why is this guy so angry? Nicholas Svedberg? Ooh, Briz is old and not good.
We offered to trade Makarov to the Ducks in exchange for Brizgalov and some late-round picks. While this trade is in the works, we call up Theodore as Makarov's emergency replacement.
Oh my god, guys, he's starting. I really hope he doesn't get 920 and we have to ship him off immediately. Oh no! Oh, it was a 2, he only let in 2 goals. No! No! Oh no! We gotta get rid of him. Oh.
The Sabres goalies are making them a good team. This is unacceptable. We immediately shopped Theodore to get rid of him. But then, he disappeared.
Block, or did we send him down? What did we do with him? What did we do with Theodore? I already forgot. Wait. Did he retire? Where is he? Where's oh my goodness. Where is he? No, my god, he did retire! Oh no! What? Are you kidding me?
We lost a 4th goalie. Jose Theodore would rather murder his hockey career than be traded. The first month of the season isn't even over yet. The Brizgalov trade goes through. Said Tim Murray, "We acquired Ilya because we're trying to create the right culture. I think we're making progress with this trade." And then once again, he asked for everyone to say their prayers. If I was Andrei Makarov, I'd be so ticked that my boss was so elated to have got rid of me, like I was the cancer upon the team. Oh well. On that day, October 28th, we acquire Brizgalov and start him immediately.
Briz, don't get over a 920 and don't get a win. It's a 2-1 win. Oh my god. Stop! Dude, stop! We can't do this! We can't keep doing this!
But on the very same day that our Sabres acquired Ilya Brizgalov with the goal of him sucking and giving him explicit instructions to suck, he has the audacity to have pride in his play, and we ship him right back to Anaheim. Heck, we gifted him back. Accidentally, we had fulfilled the trade the same player twice requirement by borrowing Ilya Brizgalov for 12 hours. Tim Murray was calm in his interview, saying, "In trading Ilya, we were trying to create the right culture here. In terms of improving the team, I think we're ahead of schedule after acquiring that late-round pick." He literally just said the exact same thing about acquiring Brizgalov. Amazing. But this takes us 1 step forward and 2 steps back, because now, in the entire Sabres organization, there's only 1 goalie, Michael Neuwirth. Because of a few rough starts, he's nowhere near hitting 920 and isn't the reason we're overperforming, but our AHL team has no goalies and our NHL team has no backup. We offered to sign statistical schlubs Casey DeSmith and Justin Pogge out of free agency. Once again, absolutely not pro-level goalies by every FHM stat. But they don't immediately sign. They take a full day to do so. But it's game day against the Bruins, and the Sabres don't have a backup. It's impossible to get another goalie before the game. So there's only one thing we can do.
Okay. We're making Brian Flynn the goalie. Oh my god, you can actually do it. That's crazy. I can't believe this. That's so funny. That's awesome. I didn't know you could do that. We gotta start it. Yeah, we gotta. This is the 11th game of the season, by the way. Come on, put it in. There we go. Okay. Well, there goes the shutout. More impact if we were simming. Oh, come on, put it in. Rebound, Matt Fraser. All right, okay. Here we go. David Creech. Okay. He's actually making some... All right. We did it. I mean, a 700 save percentage is not the worst there's ever been in the NHL.
Brian Flynn, a left wing, is forced to play goalie and lets in 5 against the Bruins for a 700 save percentage and a much-needed loss. The solemn pride must be his to have laid so embarrassing a sacrifice at the altar of Connor McDavid. Brian Flynn understood the assignment for this season and sacrificed his dignity for it. Bravo, Mr. Flynn. Once Casey DeSmith and Justin Pogge signed the next day, our line of sacrificial goalies is replenished. But we're still 5-1-4. It's not even November, but we're above 500. Unacceptable. Starting to get a little nervous, I shop our most prized pending UFA, Drew Stafford.
Oh my God, what? How many people want Drew Stafford? Dale Weiss. David Clarkson? He got a tooth knocked out. Are you kidding me? He's day-to-day with a tooth knocked out? That's so funny.
If you don't know the tea on David Clarkson, he was a player who had a random 30-goal season, got a massive contract from it, and never replicated that success again due to regression and injury. Seeing that he was a locker room leader on the Leafs, however, led me to think that we could work him and Stafford into that trade where we inexplicably get ourselves a glue guy and a sulfuric acid guy simultaneously. The next step would be to find the locker room cancer.
So we have a chance to attack 3 different trade goals here. We could get one of the 6 players on the expiring contract, which is Drew Stafford. We can make a trade with 5 assets involved if we get one more from either side, and trade for a locker room cancer and leader simultaneously. We just need to add a player to the Maple Leafs that is a locker room cancer. Is Nazem Kadri's disruptive and Phil Kessel. There's no way we're going to be able to get Nazem Kadri and Phil Kessel. We just have to ask too much. Get Stuart Percy. Stuart Percy's only outspoken, but if he has low, leadership team player stats, then I think that'll count as a locker room cancer.
To be clear, I don't know anything about Stuart Percy. I'm sure he's not a locker room cancer in real life. But FHM said he was unpopular, and FHM is the game we're playing. Plus, he was really young with potential, so that would soothe the loathsome boil that is Clarkson's contract if we were able to acquire it.
We're trading for, Jeremy Clarkson. We're just trying to make it work so that we knock out 2 of the other trade goals. We make a trade with 5 of our assets, and we trade for a cancer and leader simultaneously. Oh, did I say Jeremy Clarkson? I meant David Clarkson. Oops.
After a little finagling, mainly adding an overperforming Tyler Myers to the deal, we send an offer to Dave Nonis. It was a huge trade. The main piece we wanted was this year's first round for Toronto, which ended up being 19th because Toronto overperformed. But aside from that, on its face, this trade sucks. And Tim Murray was very petty in the interview that was slammed together by the patrons. He asked reporters how their team was doing. He compared his salary to theirs. When he finally got to explanations, he said, "We're trying to build for the future." Not like you'd know what that looks like or how to do it. The process takes time when we're prying McJesus from the slough that is Erie. He also said carpe diem as he walked away, which is you can definitely tell when someone has watched Dead Poets Society for the first time. Despite losing 2 of our best players and not gaining even a good player, the Sabres stay well above 500.
Lose. What is happening? We're winning all of these games by 1 point. There we go. We are last place in every category. So we really should be doing worse than we are. I think we'll regress to the mean a little bit.
A month into the season, we're 5th in the whole dang league. Kona, my sweet, dearest Pookie, we long to kidnap your magnificent, jaw-dropping jaws and succulent legs. However, without losing your bosom completely, nobody can stop that greatness of Buffalo claiming your ponderous skill. Clarkson gets a long-term injury, but it will do nothing to help the team tank because he's not that good anyway. So the patrons and I decide to cut Neuwirth loose. He's fine. He's not great, but he's not bad enough to sink the team either.
We just need goalies that are bad. At that point, I think that's the only way we can... At this point, I think that's the only way we can really drop in the standings. Just because we kind of need to start cratering as it is.
We trade him to the Oilers on the off chance that he will improve their team out of the basement, since they are also competing with us for McDavid. And we trade him in exchange for Tyler Buns. Or Boontz. I'm not sure which. I'm going to call him Buns.
Which goalie do we acquire? Victor Foss, who is not good. or Tyler Buns, who is even worse, but has the name Buns? All right, the vote is still for Buns. I gotta give the people what they want. Tim Murray's listening to the voices in his head.
Tyler Buns is instantly a fan favorite. So, we have an AHL lifer and an AHL backup in Buffalo's net. And what do you think happens after 3 games?
Oh, dang, they're actually rising. Oh, crap. We gotta lose to the Caps. Stop! What the heck? Oh, my God. Was this Buns? I swear to God, that's it. He's over 920. He's at 920. We gotta get rid of Buns. No! He's too good!
We ship Tyler Buns right back to Edmonton for his counterpart, Richard Bachman, who somehow had worse stats prior than Buns did.
Injury to Matt. Wait. Oh my God, one of our best players is out for the season. Hallelujah! 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 Gotta lose. Overtime win. What the heck, dude? What the? Ah! 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 You can't make this up. He's a 1.5 star goalie.
We angrily dump him to Dallas for a human being named John Nyberg. I'm not even sure John Nyberg really exists. Dallas knew we wanted to send Bachman out the door, so they may have just written a name down on paper and told us, hey, you can get this guy for him, and we were like, sure. The door definitely hit Bachman on his way out. Tim Murray was clearly sick of doing interviews for stupid trades because goalies had the audacity to try and succeed. He did say the trade made sense for both sides. He said they get a player and we get a player. That's literally as fair as it gets. And then he said, of course, the failures start with me, even though we're 12-6-5 in the top half of the league. And then he ran away from the podium again.
Because we have to be able to get them. Look, we've had 3 of these goalies already! Okay, these are some bad goalies. Like, these are like half stars. Like, it cannot get any worse than these goalies. Oh, wow! Jason Bakashiwa hadn't played in 8 years before this year. He's the one. I agree. I think Jason Bakashiwa's the one. Hey, man, you're getting the call. You're in the NHL. Where am I going? Buffalo. No! You joined a quiet retirement working in a car dealership in the Buffalo Sabres. Oh my God. Don't do it, Jason. Don't do it. It's a trap.
Since our AHL team once again has no goalies, we signed Jason Bakashiwa, who hadn't been in the NHL for 8 years to that point, to get back up to the goalie minimum. And then, it's decided. Bachman, the 2014-15 Sabres' 11th goalie, was the last straw. We were 12-6-5. That's it. We shop our highly touted trade pieces now, in December, because while we may get better deals for them closer to the trade deadline, none of it will matter if we aren't in a position to draft McJesus. One of our best performing defensemen, Andre Benoit, is shopped, and we take the first offer that comes our way.
Anthony Duclair for Andre Benoit. That's actually a good trade. It's also I think it's a downgrade? Yeah, it is a downgrade. Which is what we want, but it's also like a future trade.
This trade, despite being objectively good for a rebuild, for some reason rubbed Tim Murray the wrong way. He was incredibly disappointed and kept his gaze low the whole interview. We're rebuilding, not tanking, he said in a glum and barely audible voice. Again, the failures start with me, but in times like these, I always say to myself, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. What a disaster. Everything he said made sense, and the trade made sense, so why did he sound so disappointed? Then we thought of different ways to convince our defensemen to stop playing well. Entering mid-December, though, we are still too good.
I think we should just start getting rid of people. I've had enough. We cannot beat the 2015 Lightning. Can we pay a sniper to point a red dot at Risto to get him stop playing so well defensively? Is he playing well defensively? That's so unlike reality. That he's leading the team in offensive play. That's not right. Good forwards as it. Zemgus Girgensons has 4 stars. Why?
time to also ship off our best forwards and overreach as GM to tell the coach that he needs to employ a slew of ruinous strategies.
I guess I can just change it to whatever has the most bad fits. That's why I didn't want to get too into it, because I didn't want to, just be oh my god! Just adjusting over and over and over. Oh my god, that's bad. Once we get McDavid, it'll all these nightmares will go away.
We end up running strategies that conflict with each other out the wazoo. Strategies that not only are bad ideas for teams that don't live in the age of radio anymore, but also strategies that are ubiquitously bad fits for the skaters. Thankfully, it leads to disaster. We are outscored 14-0 in the next 3 games. But the biggest celebration comes when we shop Brian Gionta and Zemgus Girgensons, who are also doing too well for their own good. Girgensons in particular was somehow playing at an all-stars level. A lot of people were interested.
These other guys are just whoever.
What?
Oh my god. I think we have a winner. But let me just check the other ones to make sure no one else is giving up like their firstborn.
Once again, despite pulling off highway robbery, Tim Murray did not seem happy about it. He was disappointed. He said, "I just want you all to know that we're building for the future. We're still searching for our identity. And by God, I'll trade every single player in this league if that's what it takes to find it." And as he was leaving, he said under his breath, as it says in Ecclesiastes 21:46, "Peter, the horse is here." And we also ship off Brian Gionta and Kenton Helgeson for a 7th, but that's not as interesting as Brian Murray falsely quoting the gospel. So we are poised to plummet. We have 2 goalies who are supposed to be terrible, statistically the worst tandem we could possibly have, and we got rid of 4 of our best defensemen and forwards, and we acquired players who will be good or great later, but aren't ready now. Our roster is a joke. There's just one caveat. The teams who are actually in the position that we're supposed to be in. 29th place was the Ottawa Senators, and the points gap between them and 28th was cavernous. That's not good. Usually gaps between 3 or 4 teams isn't that large at all, but the points difference between the bottom 2 teams and everyone else was going to be very, very hard to make up. So, the patrons had the inspired idea to sell off some of our better pieces to the Senators in the hope that they'll buoy Ottawa out of 29th and make it easier for us to catch them.
Trade Georges to Ottawa. Ooh! Oh yeah, because we've bandied that idea about for a while, haven't we? About giving our good players to bad teams. Hey Ottawa, we're totally coming to you with no ulterior motives whatsoever. Here, have some players, Just a couple players that are good. Battle of No, I insist. He's on a long contract, so we'll throw in Mazzaros, who's on an expiring contract. Oh, hold up. What if we traded? Hold up. How about that? I think we need to give them as much as we can. I mean, we need to make the Senators better. So I do want to add in Mazzaros. He's also one of the 6 UFAs. Who's a warm, breathing body? Nick Paul. Nick Paul's a breathing human being, isn't he?
If it goes through, this is probably the worst trade that we've made so far, or at least the hardest to justify. Mazzaros and Georges are legit top 4 defensemen in this sim. We're giving them up 30 games before the trade deadline for dudes with no future at all. But considering how we absolutely punked Toronto for William Nylander and New York for Anthony Duclair, I think the media can allow ourselves a little leeway. Finally, about a third of the way into the season, we witness the fruits of our obliterative labor. Majestic McDavid, man. We really wish that you feel prepared to assimilate Buffalo into godhood. It'll help us on finding an Applebee's for dinner. Buffalo needs reconstruction and rehabilitation with hockey and gabagool.
A loss. Nice. I love it. That's what I want to see. Need another loss. A 6-1 loss. That's what I'm talking about. Overtime loss? Okay. Nope, 3-1 loss. Overtime loss, but whatever. I do not want to win here. Okay, good. We got a loss. A loss. 3-0 loss. We sit at 18th. All right, so we dropped a full 10 points in those last 10 games. So, unthunder your bowels, Mr. McDavid. Whoa! Are you kidding me? Ben Street is a 2.5 stars? When we traded for him, he was a 1 star. He's playing bottom 6 minutes. How is he doing so well? He's a team player. What a bitch. He's good-natured. Oh, and he doesn't lose his temper at all. Ben Street is the strong, silent type. Jason Bakashima is getting his first NHL start in like 8 years. And he lost. Yay. Woohoo. Awesome. Boy, Jason, you're lucky that the limit is now 5 games. No one talks to Jason when he comes into the locker room. No one talks to Jason. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. Okay. It's a loss. A 1-0 loss. Oh my god, dude. So we got trounced by them last time. Let's hope that continues. Nice. We have not scored a single goal against Minnesota this year. It's glorious. We go on an absolutely pathetic 5-16-2 streak. Our trade getting rid of our best defenseman goes through, and Ottawa actually does lift up out of 29th to close that gap in the cellar. We, however, dropped to 24th, a full 16 places in about half an hour of simulation. There was only one hitch. Can you guess what it was? Yep, that's right, the godforsaken 920 rule. Do it. Yep. All right, Casey. You're gone, bitch! All right, Jake Evans? For Casey to Smith? Interesting. Once again, evil fake schizophrenic Tim Murray does the impossible and makes a good trade, acquiring perpetual head keeper downer Jake Evans. As a pleasant byproduct of not us being a good GM, but other people being bad GMs, we actually had put the future of our franchise at a pretty good spot. Not the present franchise, mind you, or the next year, or maybe the year after that, but the future was bright, if you squint. Drunk with power, I tried to acquire patron favorite Tyler Buns to get our goalie number back up to 4. And got denied? Are you kidding me? What? They don't want to give up. They know that we love Tyler Buns. Sadly, with Buns out of reach, we searched internationally to sign Yutaka Fukufuji, who is a Japanese goalie who did play in the NHL for the Kings, like an eternity ago. His mental ratings were terrible, so he would be a good ripcord if we needed an absolutely abysmally bad goalie. But interestingly, we also had a ripcord of the opposite variety. So Matt Hackett is ready for more. Matt Hackett is 2 stars. He's decent. Matt Hackett was another real-life Sabres goalie from this season, but he started the season with said real-life knee injury that kept him sidelined until late into the season. His skill rating was a whopping 2 stars, so I guess he was 4 times as good as Justin Pogge was. But we could ride his stellar by our standards play if we ever tanked too far down and thus needed to rise back up a spot. My marvelous Canadian darling Anik McDavid. My God, Flynn has unstoppable gout. All-star hopeful jam bam slam. Come on, fam, we're tonking hard and scheming. We drink blood. Orange Gatorade. For McDavid. Injuries to our best players, who were not necessarily good players, came and went, and we were thankful for that. At the tail end of January, we got a generous offer from the Bruins, sending off pending UFA Zach Dalpe for a young bag of magic beans named Peter Cehlarik. Tim Murray took this trade probably the best of any that he made so far. He was zen. He said, "None of you understand what it takes to win. I think we're making definite progress." Upwards or downwards, we don't know yet, but we're definitely making progress. Also, be the change you wish to see in the world. And with this trade, we completed our goal of trading away 6 initial pending free agents. May they all live lives of spiritual fulfillment. Elsewhere. Getting into the final stretch of the season, February, March, and the start of April, all we had left to do to complete our trade goals was to offload poor Ryan Smith and acquire an injured star player, the latter of which we hadn't done much research on.
So we hit the league-wide injury list to peruse our options.
I don't know. Ooh, Victor Hedman. That would be nuts. All right. A win? No. No. This is the team we cannot win against. Well, he's not quite at the 5-game limit for the 940. So we can send him down. I think that was something, I think that was Gabe. We send him down, and just in the event that he pulls crap like this when we need him to, we just send him down. No, an overtime win. Jason Bakashiwa put up a 944. All right, Justin, don't let me down. Oh, he let me down. Oh, he wasn't very good, but he still let me down. Gone back up to 21. We're still only like 7 points away from 29, so it's not like we lost that much ground. A 5-3 win? Why are our forwards scoring, man? Stop that. We're playing against Ottawa. Now, this is a game we have to lose because Ottawa sucks. A loss. It's an overtime loss, but we'll take it.
Our defense was the problem, or at least the defense was our scapegoat. So some patrons suggested having the defense take huge risks and not backcheck after they blow their position. I mean, we had exhausted most of our options and were hovering at 21st, so I was willing to try anything. Midway through February, despite being a very attractive trade piece for contenders, pending UFA Torrey Mitchell and 3-star Chris Stewart still had not baited any offers. Wanting to get them off my mind and their talent off my team, I tried to shop them to get some immediate terribleness in Buffalo.
Put that in our back pocket. Scott Lawton. And a 7th for Torrey Mitchell?
Of the Scott Lawton trade, Tim Murray defended himself, saying, "We're rebuilding, not tanking." You all might be thinking why we also acquired another 7th-round pick. To that I say, the draft is where you get elite talent, especially in the 7th round. He then immediately dropped to his knees and started praying. When it came to the trade for Chris Stewart, the patrons got into a relatively heated debate over whether or not it made sense to send him to Minnesota for Matt Cook and his torn groin, who was terrible and would take a crap ton of penalties and probably hurt us, or send him to Edmonton as a more direct upgrade for them, since they were below us in the standings and we want to give them all the help we can to not take our 29th place. The vote came down to an exact tie, so I did what any GM with a split scouting room would do. I flipped a coin.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait, no, you're so right. Head should be Cook. Absolutely, yeah. I'm flipping this on Google, by the way. It is tails. That's true. I think we flipped Davidson for Cook. Not the worst idea.
The cat patron brought up a good point. Why not try to get double worse? And so we got our penalty-taking, minute-wasting cardio experiment. Given how contested the choice was whether or not to get him or Davidson, GM Murray was overjoyed that he was able to get both. He clicked his heels together on the way to the podium, hop, skip, and a jump all the way over. With a beaming smile, he said, "Acquiring Matt Cook, we're just trying to create the right culture. You know, Cookie thinks with other people's heads. It's very efficient." Facing another accusation of intentionally tanking the team, he said, "Well, you know, the process takes time." And then he ran away again. Exalted hockey wunderkind, we at the lowest of lows, downest of downs. However, you are our hope for the path of righteousness into playoffs. May we meet at the next Chosen One convention.
Oh, win? Come on! Come on! Why? Justin! Oh, he's getting close, man. Oh, Justin. Matt Molson. No! We do not need Matt Molson ready to return to practice. Absolutely not. A win, dude. Stop winning. This is not good. We were tanking so well. Justin, no. Oh, he's so close, dude. She has a 97 game rating. That's right. Yeah.
After Valentine's Day, we sat at 26 and 25 and 8. Our two best forwards and biggest trade pieces were gone. But at this point, we knew better than to think shedding good pieces would drop us in the standings. After all, our goalies who were supposed to be bums were somehow still playing fantastically. So we once again peeped the injury list to see who we'd be able to sell the soul of our present-day team for.
Gosh, the only people available that fit the criteria at this point that will miss the season are good enough are Victor Hedman and Nino Niederreiter. So let's do one more check before the actual day of the trade deadline. Oh, you know what? We may have to offer the trade beforehand because sometimes they take time to go through. Niederreiter or Hedman. Those are our only options.
Once again, the votes were split right down the middle. Victor Hedman is Victor Hedman, but he would surely command a massive price. Niederreiter is still very good, but rightfully wouldn't cost nearly as much. We put our heads together and tried to figure out what exactly the price would be for both players.
Your current outlook is win now. We have to capitalize, win urgently. I've never seen that before, so we have to capitalize on that. I can say for certain we're gonna have to offer the Maple Leafs first-round pick. They have a weakness at defense and the wings. You think they'll take Matt Molson? No. Just who's the best that we have straight up? Nick Delorier is 3 stars, and he's cheap. What if we also give up our 2016 first? I hope they don't say that this is stupid. They want Sam Reinhart in exchange. If that's the case, then let's get rid of that. Sam Reinhart a first and Nick Delorier for Victor Hedman. That seems to be... yeah, we're getting robbed. That is really steep. Let's see what we can get for Nino first. Okay, I think that's fair. Elliot Friedman is tweeting out there's a trade in the works. They have no particular preference between veterans, prospects, and draft picks. Well, that's good for us. That gives us more flexibility. Want one of the following players. Okay, so it seems like they want prospects, but none of like the super high level ones yet. Like Luke Adam. Like we could add. Would that be enough for them? Are you serious? A first and Luke Adam would be enough for broken neck Nino? See, this is why we can never trust Hedman. I mean, Hedman is like... I mean, he's amazing, right? He's 5 stars. Yeah, we did do our due diligence. I don't know if a team can be big enough for both Sam Reinhart, who is a center, and Connor McDavid, who is a center. We have it in writing that Steve Yzerman is willing to accept this level of stuff. A overperforming grinder, a future top-line center, and a middle first-round pick for a guy who can help us now and for another good 10 years. Oh. Okay, we need to get someone back to get them down to 50. Who's the worst player they have? Do you guys care? Adam Arnie? But he's got like a 3... They're never going to agree to that. Wait, what? No way. Are you serious? Oh my god. That's so dumb. There's no way they would agree to that. I don't think they'll accept it, but we'll offer it. It went through! Oh my god! We got Adam Ernie! Yes!
Victor Hedman was a Buffalo Sabre. Ah, what a horrible thing to say. Adam Ernie was there too, but he's more of an in-joke than anything else. But with this fantastic development came more sour news.
Lose. Alright, overtime loss. I don't think we've lost in regulation in a couple games. Alright, Justin, that's it. You blew it. It lasted 18 games, and you did a great job for the most part, but you just started winning. Gotta shop and just see what you get. Young guy for old guy, maybe.
We executed the final trade requirement of the season, shipping off the only free agent we dragged kicking and screaming to Buffalo, Ryan Smith. We sent him to New York in a fairly anticlimactic trade for Sean Haggerty. In the media, Tim Murray had no words for Ryan Smith, focusing instead on Adam Ernie. And doors. He had lost it. And just like that, we're done. No more trades. This roster, which we had built, destroyed, reconstructed, obliterated, refurbished, and atomized time and time again, was going to have to fall down the standings to 29th in the final 20-odd games of the 2015 season. Our trades, on the whole, had been pretty good for our future, I think, at least our forwards. Our defense already had some good prospects coming, and our goalies... Well, apparently our goalies could not fail to save their lives, so I guess we shouldn't be worried about them either. But that brings me back to our current goalie situation. Bakashiba and Pogge were doing well, against all odds, and all evens too. And the uncertainty of how they would do night in and night out was killing me. That should not be the case when Connor McDavid should be within reach already. Folks, I think you'll agree, we had done absolutely everything we could within the realms of plausibility to be a bad team. We got rid of good goalies like the real Sabres did. Heck, we made all of the same types of trades the Sabres did. We went over our coach's head. We sent our better players to teams who were competing for McDavid. The works. I think you will forgive me for taking one final step, this time fully over the line, to ensure that the Sabres would be able to drop to 29th and secure Connor McDavid.
What was he before? Guts in a muffin. Great. Exactly what we want. But he didn't even move. He just watched it go by. Dmitry Kulikov. They're all muffins. They're all muffins. Oh, yes. We exhausted every possible option. It is what it is. What the heck? 7-1 loss. When we start Brian Flynn, we're just going to run him into the ground. Okay. Top line center, Matt Cook. Oh, this is so cursed. Big loss here. 6-0. Dude, it's all coming together. This is the plan. Jason Bakashi was getting like... He's just pumping up his numbers on garbage time. Can't have a cold goalie. Gotta play him till he gets hot. 3-1. Wow, 3-1 loss. Not bad. Whoa, my God, dude. No one even shows up here. Oh my God, we just destroyed him. Brian Flynn's hot now, everybody. Let's go. We had to tie his unconscious body to the post like Goldberg. Brian Flynn, let's see how you do against Toronto. Oh no, it's another loss. Who could have foreseen this? They killed him. He's dead. We got outshot 50-20. Oh my God. Yeah, brother. Brian Flynn is hot as a pistol. Brian Flynn is hot as a pistol. 6-1 loss. He's hot as a pistol. Brian Flynn is no longer hot. Jason Bakashi was cold. I'm going to start Bakashiwa just to see, because this is a back-to-back. This is the very next day. I'm going to see if it makes a difference. 6-3 loss. All right. No, see, like we're not tanking, dude. We're trying our different goalies. Well, I guess Jason Bakashiwa just isn't reliable, man. I guess we have to go with Brian Flynn. Oh my gosh. 10-0. Holy God. Oh, Jason, you want to start, but I know that you're cold. Come on. Brian Flynn knows he knows what he's supposed to do. Come on. Oh, come on, dude. New Jersey. Yeah. 9-2 loss. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't understand what's happening, man. Oh, Sabres. Overtime loss. Did Brian Flynn get us a point? All right, Brian, let's see what you're made of. Oh no, it's okay, Brian. We're a patient franchise. We're rebuilding. We gotta close this gap. We're running out of time. All right, oh my God, guys, we're 1 point out of 29th with one game in hand. 5-1 loss. I'm cool with it. We are 3 points out of 30th, which we cannot do. So the question is, do we sit Brian Flynn and also bring up, I forgot his name, Justin Pogge? All right. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my God! Oh, Jason Bakashiwa started. Never mind. I thought Brian Flynn won the game for us, but he didn't. This is going to be a real juggling act over the last couple games here. All right, Brian. 6-2 loss, man. Oh my God. Dude, Yutaka Fukufuji has a 378 save percentage in the AHL. Oh my God. We should have just called him up. We made Flynn suffer for no reason. You know what? You're right. My good and faithful servant, Brian Flynn, after 14 games and an .835 save percentage, 34 goals saved below average, and a 6 goals allowed average, we will convert you back to, what were you? Every forward position imaginable. Let's see how bad he does. We only gave up 7. Only. Wow. He made 1 save on 4 shots. That's so funny. Why is he so bad? Why is he so bad? I don't get it. Like, Brian Flynn did a better job than he did. 6-1. You know what? He probably just got pulled right away again. We can't get 30th. We can't! But we could pass Carolina, so we just gotta make sure we lose out. Which means Jason Bakashiwa can't steal any games after he comes in. The whole season comes down to whether or not Jason Bakashiwa is a selfish bitch who tries to save a game that's already lost. That's what the whole season comes down to. We will start Fukufuji. He will inevitably suck, and Bakashiwa will come in. All it takes is for him to not steal the game afterwards. Okay, that's a loss. We'll take it. One more game. 5-2 loss. Is that the season? Is that it? Are we 29th? We did it! 29th! We're getting McDavid! Woo! McDavid is ours! We're not tanking! We're just rebuilding! My dearest Connor, Adam Ernie will create so much hype along with McDavid jersey sales. Buffalo will be your ultimate destiny. You're going to bring life to our majestic arena. Our new republic! We shall create regimes that cause dominance, destruction, and untaxable palm trees. "82 games of misery later, we had done it. We had landed in the spot that was going to draft Connor McDavid. It took literally every conceivable sabotage to pull it off, since everyone seemed to be determined to be good at their jobs, the swine, but we got there at the very end. All season, the roster was a rotating door of bags of skin and bones that could maybe play hockey, the most long-suffering of which was Tyler Ennis. At least players we traded away no longer had to suffer on the Sabres, but not the guys who stayed. Speaking of, there was actually one player who performed really well, surprisingly. Defenseman Alex Grant, despite playing bottom pair minutes on defense, actually produced really well, especially considering this was 2015. He may have earned himself an NHL contract somewhere else. However, that's literally the only notable thing about the Skaters' stats at the end of the season. But I know you're curious about the goalies. Well, at the end of the year, the survivors were Yutaka Fukufuji, who could have been our actual goalie version of Brian Flynn because he was so bad, Jason Bakashiwa, the longest-lasting goalie on the Sabres by calendar days, and of course, E-Bug Brian Flynn, who is the real MVP of this team. But that's where the bad goalies end. Of the 13 goalies that played a game for the Sabres this year, 10 of them had a cumulative save percentage of over .920, when most of them were not NHL-worthy goalies. What are the chances of that? A lot of these guys only played a handful of games, but when they're all statistically really bad, that's crazy. But it didn't matter. In the end, the souls and livelihoods of our players were successfully destroyed enough that we had put ourselves in the standing spot that would be the beneficiary of the 2015 draft lottery, and the Buffalo Sabres would draft Connor McDavid. Or would they? Ladies and gentlemen, a week after recording the sim, I realized I had made a grievous error. Easily the biggest one I've ever made on this channel. You may have seen it already. You may have called it out when you first noticed it. You may have made a comment below on it already, in which case edit that comment to say, "Does he know?" It's a mistake that turns the whole sim on its head. Edmonton, the team that won the draft lottery and picked Connor McDavid, did not finish in 29th. They finished 28th. I first pitched the idea of a McDavid tanking sim on January 19th of this year. I'm writing this on April 27th.
I had over 4 months to figure out I'd made a mistake, and I didn't even do it accidentally. None of my patrons caught it either. I didn't catch it until I made this graphic right here. I didn't even catch it when I was double-checking the standings to make the graphic. I was literally in my photo editing software when I was like, oh, this is a cataclysmic failure. And now, because our exploded team did not land in the same place as the McDavid-bound Oilers, the season was a cataclysmic failure too. Nobody in their right mind would destroy a team to this degree for Dylan Strome. No disrespect to him, of course, I love him. But we did. Even in the world of zeros and ones and make-believe, the Sabres can do everything right to get McDavid and still have it bungled up by factors outside of their control. Our only hope of redemption, my only hope of redemption, is to win the draft lottery in the actual sim. If we don't get first overall, I am hanging myself. We're gonna go to the draft lottery, and we will be either damned or absolved by that. Edmonton, Ottawa, New Jersey. Yes! Okay, I'm absolved.